Hi, everyone, and welcome to the first meeting related to the AWS infrastructure for the Kubernetes project. Just to clarify things here, this is a dedicated meeting that's going to happen possibly every week or every 2 weeks until the month of April, because we are about to do a special project related to Bootstrap in new infrastructure on AWS. For the record, I just want to basically a reminder that AWS gave 3 million during KubeCon's intro of last year. We basically want to work on make sure we can consume them this year. So quick reminder of the basic rule of this meeting. This meeting is under the code of conduct and will be published on YouTube later. So feel free to be mindful about this. Okay, I'm going to share my screen quick. Do we have a note taker?
I got you.
Thank you. Look at myself. I host. I'm not doing the introduction here because this is the first call. There's going to be a lot of people doing that solution. I want to focus on exactly what's need to be discussed. So, okay, like I say, we are bootstrapping a new infrastructure. So, and at the same time, we're trying to address a cost issue on the GCP infrastructure. So we have I think we have a GitHub board I put somewhere here. I create a few issues related to all of this info. So the idea is to Jeffrey will play some kind of project manager trying to do triage on this board and also make sure we can have this board up to date every time we come here to discuss about what's exactly needs to be done. So I'm going to put this as the last thing because this is like it. Okay. So I have 3 updates to give since we got those credit. I think the first thing is we transfer, and I think Rian will give confirmation later. We transfer all of the AWS account related to the Kubernetes project to the new organization. So I think that was done last week. Thank you for that, Rian. So basically now all the raw job run against the AWS own organization. The second thing is since yesterday, we now by default serve the image layer from S3 directly for everything that's not GCP. And we'll probably see this in the future in the building of AWS. So I hope we can show something in the next K8s Infra meeting happening next week. And the third base is Justin's working on make sure all the binaries served through artifact.keys.io will be served from S3. There was some kind of work in progress about this. I think we just need to go in production, and I hope it's going to happen by end of the month. And that's my idea. If anyone want to add something, feel free to raise your hand. Yes, Mohammed.
Yeah, sorry. Are we looking at spinning up our Prow build clusters in AWS next month? Or is that something we're doing later in the year?
This month, in fact, there's an issue I create. Where is that? Yeah, I'm gonna zoom in. So yeah, we can put that in the doc. So I create an issue, and that was, I hope Kubernetes look into this and start looking into this. I think Jiffy put a tag for the folks, so we can start take a look. I mean, anyone's interested to basically work on this, feel free to.
Yeah, I've already started the legwork for that work. So Prow should work in AWS. And we just need to spin up a cluster and start running jobs on there. I can drive that work. It's not particularly difficult to get it going. We'll just need an account created for this cluster, for the build clusters, and then they'll live in there, and that's it.
Okay, I'm gonna reset expectation here. I think the first thing I want to say is be able to have an EKS cluster working, matching the specification made here.
Okay, yeah, that's easy to do.
I don't want to say easy because AWS is something else. So let's not.
I've done it at work. It's doable. It's not hard.
It's fine. I don't just want to say easy, medium, or hard. I basically want to make sure people work on this and make sure it's happening. We need to be able to bootstrap an EKS cluster matching those specifications, because I want to replicate what's done with GK. I think that's the first thing. Once we do that, and using some kind of infrastructure as code tooling, my preference will be Terraform, but if people are comfortable with something else, feel free to work on it. So I think I want to basically because we have a contract with Kubernetes, give that to Jiffy, and Jiffy drive this and trying to either bootstrap a new team with non-Kubernetes people and Kubernetes people. So this is happening. And the second phase is plug that to Prow. So I think my first thing is like address this issue and bootstrap a EKS cluster first, and later plug with Prow, and we basically iterate over time. If that is it should be quick. We should be have all of this done by end of this month, and have Prow job in next month. We have some Prow job running on AWS. So
yeah,
Jiffy, I'm gonna. Okay,
we can get that cluster up and running in a week, with all of that stuff turned on.
Okay, I will try to create an account and give access to anyone interested to walk into this. Jiffy, you driving this? Yes, no.
Correct. I have already linked it to the Kubernetes folks and got an act from them. I mean, Mario has his hand up, so hopefully he's going to go next. But it sounds like they're going to start looking at that soon, like this week.
Okay, I think the one thing, I'm going to be some kind of bottleneck or blocker, but I think no, because as org admin, I need to create an account. Jiffy, you have the permission to do that if I'm too slow.
If I will happily do that just to get it off your plate and unblock Kubernetes from working on it. Don't worry. Okay,
if you have any issue, create the account, and basically right now we don't have nothing related to federation identity, so feel free to basically manually create user and account and stuff like that.
Okay.
I
think Mario had his hand up.
Yeah.
So regarding this task, we already linked up with Jiffy, and what we want to do, or what we propose to do, is that we actually take over this job to create the cluster, and also to take care of the Prow installation there, as we are already using it. We are already using Prow internally, and our folks have quite some experience. And this will also basically work into the proposal that we want to give eventually in the next official SIG meet, in the next not AWS migration SIG KS infra meeting.
Can we have the proposal before that meeting, so people, everyone is reviewing that? Because just to be clear, we are not deploying a new Pro installation.
Yeah, yeah.
We plug a big. We plug.
I know.
Yeah.
It was a bad choice of words. Let's put it this way.
Okay. Just to be clear in the call, we don't bootstrap a new Pro instance in AWS. We set up a new. We might need 1 or 2 build cluster, and we plug to the existing Pro control plane. That's what happening here.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah,
I mean,
bad choice on words on my side.
Okay, so I think the one thing we can do is, like, if we can drop the link of that proposal on Slack and we can either review that before the meeting, that would be great. And we can anyone can basically have a heads up before next week meeting.
Yes, we can do this.
Okay. I forgot to create an issue about this. There's also another one item I would like to give to people. I don't have an issue for this, so I'm gonna say it right away. I've been discussing to a few people. So I think I would like to see federate access on AWS using the existing GitHub organization. So for a long time, since the bootstrap of the project, we basically handle authentication and authorization using Google Groups, because there's a tight integration between GCP and Google Groups. We always leverage that. So basically, if you want to have access to a staging project, we use Google Group, and we define an ACL that gives you access to the project. For AWS, it's different because there's no identity provider, and the project don't have one. The only identity provider per se, it's GitHub right now. And I don't want to consider that as an identity provider, because basically it's individual people with the identity that we use in GitHub teams to basically leverage to give access. So the one thing I would like to say is, like, some kind of integration between GitHub and AWS at some point related to authentication and authorization. Authentication is the most difficult part. Authorization is something else, but we should focus on authentication. How, as using my GitHub identity, I can authenticate on an AWS account and basically do action, how that's happening. I need to put that in some kind of GitHub issue and try to better express what I'm trying to say. It's a long conversation, so we don't have to discuss all of this now, but just put it there. And I think that's the one thing I would like to see Kubernetes focus on, if that's possible. Also, Josh, you're in the call. If you have any idea how to do this.
I have not attempted that, no.
No. The other Josh also.
Yeah, I haven't yet, but that's an interesting one. I'm gonna reach out to a few folks on it.
So why I'm saying this is because we're gonna have to deal with multiple accounts on AWS. So we need to be able to delegate access to those accounts at some point. It's just painful to go over every account, create users per account just for one individual trying to basically access to those. So I would like to basically be able to set up something leveraging AWS Identity Center and SAML protocol to make that happen, or OIDC if possible.
So I want to just point out that does not fall under the P-1 or the P0.
I know.
So if we have an excess of effort at any point, I think it's good for us to work on that, because that is like a sustainability thing. Managing these accounts by hand is a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
But also if the choice is Kubernetes working on EKS build clusters for you or Kubernetes working on IDP, I'm going to say the build clusters, right? Like, I just want to make that clear.
Yeah, I think the priority is basically
Yeah.
the build cluster. That's the priority. The second thing is like, okay, I'm gonna phrase this differently. Like I think the idea is like having people focus on that at the same time be able to work on Prow, because they are somehow related. Like at the same time we set up a build cluster, at the same time we're trying to identify issue related to authentication. That's why I'm saying we might need to do both at the same time, but I'm not sure about that. So,
Okay.
But the priority is the priority is all the CI we need to migrate from GCP to AWS. That's a priority.
I think Mohammed has his hand up for a while.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I just want to add a few things there, right? Because I did mention something about IDP a long time ago. Demoed something.
Yeah.
The short answer is there are some cool commercial products that can bridge that gap, because you're gonna need to put something between GitHub and AWS. It could be Azure AD, or it could be something else from Auth0, for example. But it's a question that we need to resolve at some point this year. Otherwise, somebody has to deal with manual account provisioning, and it's just not worth headache.
The thing is, I don't have budget to pay a SaaS. That's my problem. Right now, I'm working on the basics. I don't have the budget to buy a commercial product to solve this.
It
It doesn't have to be commercial. You could run something like Keycloak. And
okay.
Keycloak's not the end of the world, because there will still be out-of-band access. But
yeah,
there are options available.
Yeah, even Keycloak at some point is limited, because I don't remember exactly the technical detail, but plug Keycloak with GitHub may not work well from what I saw. So we either build one from scratch, either we buy something, but I don't have the power to basically say, oh, I have money for that.
Yeah, I agree. It's just that it's a conversation that we need to have.
Yep.
Experiment with Keycloak, see how well that works for us. It's relatively powerful from what I've read. A commercial offering is better, but it needs to be priced up and see if it's worth the cost. But it's a separate work stream from everything else that's going on. So IDP isn't that important right now, because there's a small number of people working on the accounts that they've been built out. But later on, once this is live, there'll be a larger number of people that will need access. And then we should probably have an answer for that at that point.
Yeah, and that's why I basically want to put that in that effort to make sure we have this under the radar, and we have to address it at some point, because we're gonna be basic for me. By April, we've done with all the priorities. We now start to do migration of the proud jobs, and from April we need to like come back to this and say and see what need to happen. Yeah, but I need to, so in that case, I need to file funding request, right? To steering, and steering will escalate.
In this case, it's a little different because, hi, I'm here. it kind of falls all under the Kate's Infra stuff. If there is a company that may potentially have something out of the box for us, that's where I can go to CNCF leadership and try and see if there's a relationship that we can use. That's not a promise, but there is a real chance through negotiation, a commercial product might get heavily discounted for us.
Am I empowered to go do the negotiation?
No.
So
you have the power to say, hey, Jiffy, I found something that does what we want. Can you have CNCF leadership go talk to their leadership? But you can't talk on behalf of the CNCF or anything. That's what we have to do.
okay, what's the official process to do this? Do I just make a call to you, or?
Okay, again, that's the weird thing. In this case, you just tell me and we will move it forward because it's the Kubernetes infra stuff. If it was something completely unrelated, then you would file an issue in Kubernetes steering and we would move forward. I'm kind of like your TAM right now.
Oh, okay. So I'm gonna go. Is that YDC? What is that? Yeah, and cloud providers.
I wouldn't bother spending too much time looking to this right now. We can look into IDP and sort of farm out what might actually be the requirements later.
Yeah, okay. I'm done. My JFE for me, it's odd 0. So if you can look into odd 0.
I can write up what we need, right? And what good commercial products are out there. And then we can make a decision on what to explore.
Okay, open an issue for this. You put all the requirements related to it, and that,
awesome.
and you just assign to it.
Just one input from our side. We're actually also for multiple IDPs and SSO, we use Keycloak. And I don't want to just throw that in the mix, but to make this complex, but maybe it also makes sense to dig into that.
Yeah, I think Joshua said something about, do we need to just verify, like we say, we need to look to all of this, like bootstrap something, a Keycloak instance, trying to see how we can integrate. I don't block on anything.
Mm-hmm.
What I'm putting out there is like, we need something, we need to be able to authenticate to AWS using GitHub or Google Workspace, Google Group, to be more specific. I mean, now how we do that, I don't think it's the right moment to basically talk about this. Just, we're gonna open an issue, people can drop their ideas, and we can start to walk into this later. Okay.
That sounds good. I will still explore Keycloak because I can spin it up somewhere and play around with it. I will demo that just to complete the circle, right? And also propose the commercial products that I think will be great for us, and then take it from there.
Jay, what you mentioned is one part of the authentication process on the AWS side. What we're talking about is basically on the community side. Like, we need to be able to plug Identity Center and GitHub. So ping Mohammed, ping Jeffrey if you need AWS account to spin up something.
I've already got one.
Okay, that's it.
It's inexpensive to create one. I've already got a full demo environment I can demo things with.
Okay, anything else we need to talk about?
I mean, next thing on the list was cost registry thing.
Yeah, I would like to basically see the cost of registry.ki on AWS of last year, because I need to put that in the annual report. I forgot to give the detail, because I have access to current bill of this year because we did the migration, but for last year I don't have access to it, so I need that to put that in the annual report.
Much of that data is still at the CNCF account. And so when we migrated over, we all lost access to that at the CNCF level. So I can help with that. Pick that up as an issue.
I just need the number of the account where we had the S3 bucket from January 22 to December 22. What we pay for it.
I'll take that on.
Okay. Anything else we need to talk about?
I just want to make sure Kubernetes knows what we're throwing at them. So they are going to start working in terms of AWS stuff. They're going to start working on the EKS build clusters for you, right?
Yep. Yep.
They have a proposal that they will post in Slack whenever they're ready to push it out. Slightly unrelated, but just because Justin's here, they can start working on Porsche and help you out. So if there are any issues, specific issues that I can throw at them or you can direct them to, they are happy and ready to help. I just don't know if there's anything like well defined.
Yeah.
Also...
So, sorry. So Patrick in the call here would be the person to reach out. Anything regarding Porsche and support you there. You can contact him also in the official Kubernetes stack, but I will do an introduction anyways at some point after this call or tomorrow.
The best, thank you.
Thank you. I just wanted to say I think we're in reasonable shape on most of it. I think the one thing that still scares me is we have to get the authentication for Prow to do promotion. So there's already promotion. There's a similar setup for registry.k.io, but we have to do the comparable thing for artifacts.k.io just to be able to copy buckets back and forth from the trusted Prow cluster. So it's like an AWS ARN and federation and all that jazz. Roll ARN, I should say.
Got it. All right, that is pretty much me. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page there.
Okay. So anything else? Because I think we have the AI for next week. So anything else we need to talk about?
Oh, go ahead, Hippie. I heard you first.
Thanks. One of the things that I want us to take into account is the AWS request that we spend all of the 3 million in order to keep it. I think one of the things that we've needed as an organization from the Kubernetes side is to be able to have the headroom to grow. And if we get to a certain amount and that gets dropped, our ceiling gets dropped, we lose our headroom. Kubernetes will continue to grow. In order to have sustainability in this, we need to have be able to grow and not need to max it out, because if we do go to and we get the full 3 million and we spend it, then there's no room to grow. And if we get to 1.5 million and spend it and it drops, we have no room to grow. So it would be nice to in our relationship with AWS to ensure that we're able to go to the 3 million if needed, and if we can get there, that's great. But we need to bring it back to don't use it or lose it. It sounds like that would be unhelpful in the long run. Absolutely, we'll get visibility on the ongoing cost.
Anything Anyone want to add a comment to what EP say?
Sorry, someone at the door. One thing that I might do for the next, the SIG infra meeting, not just the AWS one, is shift the order of what we talk about. Sorry, Luna is going crazy because someone's here. What I would like to do is address all of the current AIs that we talked about in here up front and make sure that there's movement, and if there's any blockers, identify what those blockers are. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm kind of frazzled right now.
Yeah, do you want to do that next meeting, or do you want to? I think we need to give room to people to work on those AI. We can do an AI review.
That's all I'm talking about. Like,
okay.
Hey Justin, what's the status of Porsche and artifacts? Oh, still movement. Cool. All right, what's the status of the EKS build clusters, Mario? Okay, you've got the scripts going. Do you have any blockers? No. Okay. Like I'm talking like less than 5 minutes, but I still want to shift that up front so it kind of primes the pump for the rest of the meeting. And
okay.
Yeah, I'm happy to lead that. I'm happy to update the agenda. No worries. I just want to make sure like that makes sense and we're kind of cool with it.
Okay. I have no AI, so I'm fine with whatever you say, Jeffrey.
Thank you.
Anything else? Before I think we can finish the meeting now.
Going once, going twice. 20 minutes back.
Okay. Bye-bye, everyone.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Later.
Bye.
Cheers.